Now, Jeff Sessions was one of the earliest backers of Donald Trump. He's a very loyal guy. And he was rewarded for that loyalty by becoming the head of the Department of Justice. He's the Attorney General. So now, however, later on, 4 months later, Trump no longer is pleased with his pick for Attorney General. Well, you know what that means. Uh-oh, there's going to be some trouble. Now, first he, of course, took to Twitter recently to start blaming the Justice Department for not defending his Muslim ban. So they didn't go and they didn't defend this Muslim ban to Trump's expectations. So you might think, well, okay, look, what can Jeff Sessions do anyway? I mean, look, Trump essentially sabotaged himself on Twitter by promoting the original ban. There's nothing he'd do. Now, that original premise is, of course, based on a religious test for entry. Now, it turns out that is wildly unconstitutional. So there's really nothing that the Justice Department can defend. They can't go out there and say, no, it's completely constitutional, when it's clear that it's not. Very clearly not. So, again, the Justice Department can't really do anything about that. So, anyway, but since Trump's a moron, and he doesn't actually care that Sessions can't actually just start enforcing the ban. He can't do that. So now he's going to get angry, and for this, for his reaction, I'm going to go to the New York Times, who wrote about this. Now, he said the discontent was on display on Monday in a series of stark early morning postings on Twitter in which the president faulted his own Justice Department for its defense of the travel ban on visitors from certain predominantly Muslim countries, which didn't include Saudi Arabia, by the way. Saudi Arabia, I mean, Donald Trump loves Saudi Arabia because they invest in his hotels. They invest in his hotels. They give him over $270,000 in his local hotels. So he absolutely loves the Saudis. But as far as some of the other countries that didn't have anything to do with 9/11, because 15 out of the 19 9/11 hijackers did come from Saudi Arabia, well, Trump is, of course, like, yeah, ban them. Yeah, we don't care. They don't actually give us money. They haven't actually given me money. So ban them. Yeah, keep them out of here. Okay. Anyway. Now, Mr. Trump had accused Sessions' department of having devised a politically correct version of the ban. That ban, so PC. Wait a minute, you helped work on that, and you actually signed that second one. And it still failed because of your dumb ass. Kept tweeting and kept saying, we should go back to the original one. I mean, this one's okay. It's a little bit watered down, but it's the same thing. It's going to do the same thing. It's going to ban the Muslims. Idiot. Child. Okay. Anyway. Again, that's a great example of Donald Trump going onto Twitter and undermining himself. And then, of course, throwing other people under the bus. Because he is a petulant child. Now, this isn't the first time he's been angry at Sessions. Turns out, he's been pretty mad at Jeff Sessions for a long time. In private, the president's exasperation has been even sharper. He has intermittently fumed for months over Mr. Sessions' decision to recuse himself from the investigation into Russian meddling last year. According to people close to Mr. Trump who insisted on anonymity to describe these internal conversations, in Mr. Trump's view, they say, it was a recusal that eventually led to the appointment of the special counsel who took over the investigation. That is very interesting, actually. So why is he so worried about the special counsel anyway? Just asking. I'm just asking. Now, he recused himself. Again, as you can recall, Sessions himself lied about meeting with the Russian ambassador, Sergei Kislyak, on several different occasions. He failed to disclose those meetings during the election while he was working for the Trump campaign. So yeah, it would make sense for him to recuse himself from that investigation. Now, it sort of sounds like that I'm defending Jeff Sessions. Well, you're kind of wrong. I'm just actually trying to break down the facts. I mean, look, Sessions is a loathsome human being. I don't like him, and I would like for him to, yes, get in trouble and get fired by Trump. But again, I really have to focus on what I know, on the facts. Okay? Now, let's see. According to a senior administration official, Mr. Trump has not stopped burning about the decision in occasional spurts towards Mr. Sessions. You do not want the words Trump and spurts in the same question or in the same sentence. Trust me. In fact, much of the past 2 months of discomfort and self-inflicted pain for Mr. Trump can be tied in some way back to that recusal. Mr. Trump felt blindsided by Mr. Sessions' decision and unleashed his fury at his aides in the Oval Office the next day, according to 4 people familiar with the event. So, with that context established, is Jeff Sessions on the outs? Well, that's kind of hard to say. He did talk about resigning. He didn't, but Sessions said, hey man, look, you're mad at me, I'll resign. Well, he didn't. And for right now, it does not look that like Donald Trump is actually going to fire Mr. Sessions. In fact, Mr. Trump said that Mr. Trump is said to be aware that firing people now on the heels of dismissing James Comey, the FBI director, would be risky. He has invested care and meticulous attention to the next choice of an FBI director, in part because he will not have had the option of firing another one. The same goes for Mr. Sessions, these people said. So, hey, man, it kind of looks like Donald Trump finally figured out that it looks bad when you fire people close to the Russian investigation. It just looks bad. Now, one more thing. The fact that he even entertains the notion of firing someone for recusing himself, as well as for not defending an indefensible man, speaks to how petty Donald Trump actually is, and how he can actually turn on his allies so quickly. In fact, here you have Walter E. Dellinger, quote, this is from Clinton's former acting solicitor general, telling the Times that Trump's criticism of Sessions is, quote, wholly undercut the idea that there is some rational process behind the president's decision. I believe it is unprecedented for a president to publicly chastise his own Justice Department. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to support truly independent progressive media, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/TYTNation.